I mean, I have no words to describe, what it must be like at that residence. It's so incredibly sad. I will be going there later this evening to pay my own respects. But to see this line of people, and let me tell you that the Chief of Defence Staff's residence always had guests. It always had guests. There were always people there to meet with the Chief of Defence Staff. He loved discussion, loved meeting people. People were constantly calling on him, either from the military or from the Defence Ministry or from other ministries, including the Home Ministry. People from his native state of Uttarakhand were calling on him, quite often. He would always give them an audience. He was very, very devoted to his native state. People from all over the country would, when they visited Delhi, they would seek appointments to come and see him. Of course, people from the government and military. And he was he always kept a very, very open house. And the open house of the kind that we're seeing today is just so incredibly sad. I want to welcome back onto our coverage Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni, well-known battle hero, a person who has seen sights like these many times over. We're seeing Mallikarjun Kharge, former Defence Minister AK Antony, also on our screens right now. General Kulkarni, not a dry eye today at the Chief of Defence Staff's residence. We saw the images earlier today at the Brar Square as well. We've all been there. We've seen, what it's like. It's still sinking in, General Kulkarni.
Shiv, this outpouring of grief is indicative of one of the most highly decorated first CDS's competence. It has nothing to do with, as you always would say, I speak my mind out, मेरे election nahi ladna hai. And you see his mind, what he spoke of, the foundation that is laid, the kind of feeling that is there in the nation that they have lost a man they felt secure with. And the nation was definitely secure, and the way he was going about modernization, theaterization, and ensuring the jointness that he was working on, the aspect of indigenization, all of it. And he felt that, well, he must work extremely, extremely hard and carry on with it, the work that he was doing. And these visuals that you're showing me also take my mind back almost 25 years when I used to keep going to 3 Kamraj Lane because I was a staff officer to a general and this house is invariably, and the Nawab of Patoli used to be the neighbor there. Of course, times have changed now. But this 3 Kamraj Road was where I almost spent a year and a half up and down, going from there. And today when I see what's going on there, you rightly said, very hospitable man, very hospitable general. What a lovely couple. A fantastic, very, very graceful lady, always smiling, always, welcoming. That kind of feeling that one got whenever we met them was stupendous, fantastic. And of course, you've seen the kind of outpouring of grief, people lined up to pay homage to their dear Chief of Defence Staff is indicative that they believed in his competence. They believed that he could deliver. He was a deterrent to the enemy. The kind of outpouring and the messages that are flowing from all over the world is indicative that he knew the strength of our country. He knew that the political leadership stands beside him. The political leadership had faith in him. And that is what makes all the difference. And this is indicative that what leadership was all about. It is not necessarily that you have to appease anybody. You can keep your mind out, speak what you want to say, just because you are saying with no hidden agenda. For you, there is only one agenda, the safety and security of the nation, and to ensure that his troops are capable of ensuring the territorial integrity and the sovereignty of the nation. That's all he worked for. And it is indicative. Whoever, people may have disagreed with what he said. People may have said anything and everything. But today, they know for sure that here was the man who stood by his word. He did what he wanted to do. And all that he had, the visuals are indicative. The way foreign dignitaries, DAs, all over, messages from across the world, be it adversaries or anything, you must just neglect and ignore what Global Times talks about. Utterly, I wouldn't say you should not even think about that, what they talk about, a propaganda newspaper. But to see the outpouring, see the kind of images that we see about is indicative nothing here but competence. But he worked extremely hard and with a smiling face. Even his staff, be it Brigadier Leader, be it Harjinder, be it the rest of his personal staff officers, fantastic. Every time you've been meeting him, you've been interviewing him, you've been going to his office, super. What a personality. Always always willing to listen to you. And if you may have gone for 15 minutes only, but you would have spent probably an hour with him without him getting upset about it, and willing to talk to you, interact with you openly, there's nothing. I think we have actually lost a fantastic person. Unfortunate, but then he has laid an extremely strong foundation for the successors to come in. He has laid it, and I'm sure that's a wonderful takeoff that each one of them gets. Now, from then and after, to see whatever it is, consolidate and take it forward. We have the professional competence, we have the strength, we have the people who are very, very capable to take on the mantle of what he has left behind. But yes, what we will miss
absolutely
is his, the daredevilry, his ability to.
And we will, and I'm glad you mentioned that, General Kulkarni, because the exploits, the stories, we are going to play our part in the media to keep many of those stories alive, and we will continue to tell those stories. And the stories of each of these people, each of the families, we've seen the kind of incredible grace demonstrated by the families, the stoic determination, filled with sorrow, but so dignified. It is, to many of us civilians, it is always so difficult to believe the kind of composure and, and measure that's shown by so many of these families at a time of such devastating loss. Ambreen Zaidi, who's a well-known columnist, is also with me. Ms. Zaidi, good to have you here on our coverage. I wish it were in better circumstances, but such sorrowful scenes, and the families, the women, children, brothers, sisters left behind, a word for them as well and their strength today, ma'am.
Yeah, it's a very sorry moment. Harrowing 2 days. Shiv, matlab, you've not been able to sleep. You even if you get a wink, you get with a shock. It is still so unbelievable.
Yes.
And all these families, all the 13 families, Lance Naik, Teja, everyone. And here for General and Mrs. Rawat, we're talking about the first family of the Indian Defence Forces. Losing them like this is unbelievable. He has united us all in grief. It is so unbelievable, Shiv. We've been the ladies, my friends, our course mates. The tears don't stop. We just don't know what happened.
Yes.
So unbelievable. And when a soldier is killed in action, we lose a soldier. It's not just him. You know how it is in the army fraternity. It's a personal loss. And with General Rawat and Mrs. Rawat, both of them gone together, it's a huge tragedy for all of us to come to terms with this. Brigadier Leader, I heard images of his daughter last night, this morning.
Yes.
It's heartbreaking. The families, everything will go away, the media, the glare. The attention, it's the families. I've just, I don't know whether you're aware or not, I've just written a book on the warrior widows.
Yes, absolutely.
Soldiers, Shiv, and it talks about the pain. It talks about the ones who wait, the ones who are left behind. The pain never goes away. The trauma never goes away.
Yes, indeed.
They have to fight the society. They have to fight their own emotions. They have to fight at so many levels. But we stand united, Shiv. We, all of us, every single Indian, every single person of the Indian Armed Forces stands united today with General and Mrs. Rawat and everyone else, Brigadier Little, Lieutenant Colonel Harinder, everyone, Gurpreet, everyone. I would personally want to go to each one of them's house, visit them, and just hold their hand.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
That's the best we can do, Shiv.
Yes, yes. I hear you. And I would like to tell all of our viewers that I will also be meeting some of these families in the next few days and weeks whenever they are, able to, because, we at India Today will never forget them. We will always want to put their voices, their emotions, their sentiments, out to the public, because we don't take it lightly when we say that India is a family to these persons, to General Rawat, to Brigadier Leader, to Lance Naik Teja, to Naik Jitendra Kumar, who happened to be one of India's finest special forces snipers. So many of these persons are persons who nobody had even known about, and yet there is this incredible sense of personal loss that is inexplicable to many, but it has actually happened. General Kulkarni, you are no stranger to the death of soldiers and the death of officers. You've seen it, you've seen it firsthand. You've operated in the most difficult circumstances. You're a hero of Siachen. You're a recipient of the Veer Chakra as well for your exploits, sir. One of the very common questions, General Kulkarni, that we often get is what happens to these families after all the media glare moves away. When they are left alone with their sorrow. What kind of family support do many of these families get from the military? I often answer that question by myself and say that the military always takes care of its own, especially the families of those who've given their lives in the line of duty. Am I right, sir?
You're absolutely right, Chef. There is no denying the fact. When I retired as a DG Infantry, the wife of the DG Infantry is also the lady responsible and in charge of the Veer Naris. And we ensure that all of these are kept in touch. We do keep in touch. There are the way we all are spread all over the country, and there are houses all over wherever they have settled down, be it in Delhi, Noida, Gurgaon, or even the remotest areas of Bihar or Karnataka or Maharashtra, or anywhere for that matter. Each one of them is contacted. Each one of them is ensured. The centers take care of them. They ensure that they are not done away with anything. The pay is protected. They ensure that the money keeps flowing into the houses. They're seeing that none of them should be exploited by some with greedy lot. A lot of money pours into this kind of whenever somebody passes away like this. And therefore, it is very essential that the families have to be taken care of. The children have to be taken care of. There are lots of institutions that come forward to ensure that the tuition fees of the children is paid for. Not necessarily tuition fee, all of us, but hostel fees, boarding fees, all of it. Let me tell you, Chef, the services take care of their families. It's a big family. And that is where you find that despite the husband having gone, you had their wives come and join the army because they feel so close that this is the family that you would rather live with than be seen anywhere else. And I would say for sure, none of this. There's very concern is also a need, outpouring of such huge numbers for the grief is indicative that the nation stand behind it. And you may feel it that, well, it's a question of another 10 days, 15 days, and people will forget it. It isn't like that. They are invited time and again in number. People go around to the houses to meet them to ensure that I hope they're getting all that they're entitled to. Is there a problem that exists over there? Sometimes some issues of land are there. Sometimes some issues of children are there. We have to ensure we guide those little ones. The small children. I remember very well in Siachen, the boy who got a Kirti Chakra with me, his son was just about 7 months old at the investiture ceremony. And imagine, after 16 years, when we were in touch, the mother again requested them to say, can I have my son join the... Look at that. This is what I call a family where the armed forces take care of everybody. And I think that's very essential. Not only here, you find across in the country that maybe one odd aberration where people may not respect, but I have not come across people who don't respect. They respect a lot, and that is what is the strength of a nation. And especially with the challenges that are coming again and again, we are facing with this kind of outpouring, and the strength would be our strength. And they should feel assured that we stand by them, and that is what will take them and give them the strength to live hereinafter. I think, and especially, family, number one family, both General and Mrs. Rawat, since I've known them, what a lovely, a graceful couple, fantastic couple. I won't come across a single word which they won't agree with me. You have been there, you've been meeting them, you've been interacting with them. How hospitable, how nice.
That house, that house, the warmth in that house. You've been there, General Kulkarni. No matter how many times we say it today, we will never be able to demonstrate this again. That's the tragedy of me saying it. It feels so futile to say that this was a house that was so full of warmth. And now that warmth, in so many ways is gone because the mother and father of the house are gone. And you have this enormous amount of love, admiration and tribute being paid to the both of them at their residence today. Many of these people have called. Poulomi is with me. She's right there outside the Chief of Defence Staff's residence. Poulomi, many of the people paying tribute today, used to be visitors to this house to meet with the Chief of Defence Staff. They would, call on him right here, right in this portico where the mortal remains are lying. That's the horrible irony that I'm no doubt and many of the people who are there with wreaths in their hand will be experiencing right now. There used to be lawn chairs in this very deck, in this very veranda, where the Chief of Defence Staff would meet with a cup of coffee or a cup of tea and meet with people. And now he's lying there. His mortal remains are lying there, Poulomi. A non-stop stream of leaders. You can see Harish Rawat of the Congress party. You can see leaders from all of the embassies, DRDO Chief Satish Reddy, leaders from different religious denominations also arriving there, members of the missions, Rahul Gandhi earlier, Home Minister Amit Shah as well earlier. And I just want to remind all of our viewers that the families of the 13 and the families of every military personnel will be watching these images somewhere or the other. And they will be wondering about this enormous display of admiration and unity. We don't see it very often in a country that's fraught with divisions, but there are things in this country that bring us together, and this is definitely one of them. And that's why we continue to ask, why does it feel so personal for us all? Many of us hadn't even met General Bipin Rawat. We didn't even know him. We hadn't even heard the names of Brigadier Lidder and others before. This terrible accident has snatched them away from us. But today, we feel like we've lost a family member. We feel today like we've lost someone we've known. We feel like we've lost a friend, a family member, someone, a long-lost acquaintance. That's what it feels like. It feels personal today. I'm going to leave you with these images and enter into a short break for only a couple of minutes. And then I promise you we'll be right back to bring you the rest of our coverage from the tributes being paid to General and Mrs. Rawat.